Welcome back to another episode of Design Your Destiny. Today, I'm interviewing Mary Therese Yamamoto. Now, this interview was done a while back, but she has continued to experience so many wild breakthroughs in her business. I reached out to her and I got her permission to bring this onto the podcast so that it will reach more people than ever before. Mary Therese is a highly neat bookkeeper. She also runs a CBD brand. But like most entrepreneurs, she has known that she could create and do something much bigger. And in the process of expanding her business, in the process of laying the groundwork for that, she came across some of the fears that many entrepreneurs do. Worry of imposter syndrome, not having the confidence. Can I lead a team? The uncertainty. Will I let people down? There are a lot of things that can come up for entrepreneurs. It looks like a lot of different things, but in this interview, we unpack everything that she brought into our work together and what has happened on the back side of that. Since the recording of this interview, she has landed a dream client and she is continuing to break through ceilings in her business. Now, at the very end of the call, I'm going to tell you how you can reach out to Mary Therese if you're interested in her CBD business, or if you happen to be in interior design and you are looking for a highly niched expert who can help you in your business or show you how to bring that into your life. All of her information will be there. So let's get to it. I would love to introduce to you Mary Therese Yamamoto. She has been a bookkeeper for 15 years. She enjoys health, wellness. She is a water fitness instructor, and she runs a CD brand called Can Active. So I would like for you now to welcome with me Mary Therese, and let's just dive right in here because you have two businesses that you're running. Really, I guess you could say three if some people might want to parse out the water fitness from the CBD brand. But overall, you've been in business for 15 years. You've done that successfully. What was going on in your business and for you personally when you and I connected?
Hi. So I had a lot going on. I felt like I was juggling way too much, and I didn't have a strong identity of that because things were growing so fast and large with the bookkeeping business. And a lot of that is due to the inner work I had done and realizing how much I loved doing that because I love helping others and helping others' business expand. So when I came into that consciousness really about a year and a half ago, things really went just upward for me. But then organizing it and really figuring out how I could make it work for myself and others properly, I felt was just a mess. And I kept saying that word, spiritual mess. And I don't like that word, but I felt comfortable enough to reach out to you and say, hey, I need help. And
Yeah.
I have the best intentions, but I need some help here.
What do you mean when you say it was a mess? Because being a business owner, I know that there is a certain point in growth where there are decisions that have to be made. And that can feel messy in and of itself. Could you elaborate about that a little bit more?
I think a lot of it was I had self-confidence issues and I had a lot of imposter syndrome. And I knew that I had all of it up here. I knew it. I could sit there and privately rattle off hours and hours of content or hours and hours of ideas, but I didn't have it in me, or I didn't think I had it in me to put it out there confidently and move forward. So I think I was just running in circles in my head and not really confident enough to put it out there. And I knew I needed help because it was starting to drive me crazy.
Could you would you be willing to share some of the areas in your business that was impacting? Were there some things that you needed to do that just weren't happening?
I really needed to hire somebody, and I needed to hire more than one person, honestly. And I was nervous. I just didn't want to pull a trigger because I didn't know if I had it in me to take the time to train them. I didn't know if I had it in me to let them know everything that I needed them to know to serve my clients as equally as I want them to be served. I was a lot of it was control, but I think we can get into that later. We did delve on that a lot in our work together. And a lot of it was just nervousness. And so from that, just the not hiring somebody, I was holding more business back because I was afraid to hire somebody. So then I was afraid to take on more business. And it just, once I got to really see how all of that tied in together with our work, it was really easy for me, which we can elaborate on the work that we did. Once I was able to take a step back and do all the motions with the self-hypnosis, we can talk about how it happened all naturally. It just really worked out.
Yeah, I think you really laid out beautifully what happens for a lot of people. Like, we hear that we become our own bottleneck, but sometimes we may judge ourselves. We may see what other people are doing and really go in these circles before we actually do anything. We may wonder, how come I don't have it in me to do what this other person is doing? I've heard people be, you're just not committed enough. And from what I've seen in you, you were more than committed enough.
Yeah, I definitely.
There were just other things that were happening. Now, how did doing the work help you to do something like hire somebody, train somebody?
I think going back and doing the hypnosis, getting down to the matter where I had set things up so long ago from just childhood and just stories and just certain things that no trauma, but just things that get in your head as you're a child and grow up and that you set yourself up with. I feel like those programmings and blocks are what were holding me back. And so for me to go there, address them, let it go, and meditate on those nightly with the hypnosis, but building up on it, not just all at once. I feel like that was a really good part and helpful for me. And once I started to release those things, I felt honestly that none of it was ever an issue. Like, okay, all right, I'm just going to do this now. I literally I found somebody at the local college, brought her in, started doing Zoom training sessions, and she's up on speed with me. And she's even more motivated than I could ever imagine. But just getting there, the idea of it was so hard that I held back for months and years. And then once I actually did it, it was just bam, and so easy. I felt like you helped me make it so easy.
You said you held back for months and years. For months and years, you could have doubled your business or more, right?
Yeah.
Not to have any regrets, but to just show how much time can be a factor in this. Now, where are you now with your business? Like, in terms of, have you onboarded new clients? What is revenue? Like, how is this translating into the success of your business that you've been able to do this personally?
This has helped me unload some of the things that need to get done on a day-to-day basis so that I can build a program that I am confident to have people come into, for me to have services laid out for them, to charge what I should be charging. I can honestly say my income was the highest it ever was. I billed January out my highest income, and I know, and only one of the people came back to me questioning, and I was able to, bam, this is what I charge. This is why I charge it. This is the service that you're getting. And I am committed to helping you get to where you need to go. This is just what I do. And I was so confident in saying these things. There was no question after that. Yeah, this has definitely helped me build the business that I should have been doing. And I don't try to get too hard on myself about that, because I know it does all happen for a reason, but I definitely know I have the groundwork laid out at this point from building it in my head all these years.
Yeah.
So
It's about having that foundation in place. And then when you're ready, you
yeah.
can really grow and build on top of that. And we're not going to get into this shooting all over ourselves.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. Honestly, I am moving up. I am boom. I told you that one day. I was like, I am shooting out of a cannon today.
I know. Now, that's with the bookkeeping. What has shifted for you in the CBD brand?
Okay, so I was not confident about getting in front of the camera and speaking. And I had studied CBD and health and wellness and how cannabis affects the body for working out, which is a huge, big deal for me. That's a whole other conversation. But I had taken courses for this, studied for months on this, read probably 15 books at this point and tons of articles. So I know my stuff, but getting in front of the camera, I was not confident. I was super nervous. I was very self-conscious because I had hair loss during COVID. So I was using that. And once I started talking to you and doing the recognitions and you had written out a summary of what my journey was at the beginning. And I would read over that too in my meditation. And it really just almost made things not disappear, but easily dissolve. And then one day I just, I'm going to make a video here. Here's this. Oh, here. And it's almost again, like it was never an issue. And I'm fine. I'm fine now. I'm speaking once a month in front of people I call it the green happy hour at my gym. And I talk to people about CBD and how it can help them heal and how it can help them recover easier. I spoke at the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know. All of a sudden, that was just always me. That's how
You're
it
just
feels.
getting in front of people.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, one of the things that often comes out of this work because you mentioned that you had been on a bit of a spiritual journey before we even connected. So let's actually circle back there. What were the things that you were doing before we connected?
I was doing a daily workshop of the mind, 10-minute or 11-minute or so self-hypnosis and just envisioning a successful day or if I had to do some kind of meeting or talking or if I had a vendor fair or something like that, envisioning it being very successful. But I was doing that, trying to connect with dream time. That was big for me. But I did find that I would circle back and find your teachings on how to utilize these trainings because I could understand you better. I felt you made it more relatable. So you actually helped me in some of those things, whether you knew it or not. And that's how I just felt your assistance on some of those things in the program that I had been in prior was very helpful.
I think that with self-hypnosis, so there are a lot of people who dive into hypnosis audios. All hypnosis is actually self-hypnosis. But sometimes having just a little bit deeper understanding and perspective of how that ties back into our beliefs opens up some insight. So if you're listening to this and you're say to yourself, I've downloaded hypnosis audios, I've listened to hypnosis over on YouTube, and things aren't shaking out for me, hypnosis must not work for me, that's something that's created very general, number one. And there could be a lot of things that aren't resonating on a subconscious level that would be more potent. Connecting with someone one-on-one. And as a matter of fact, I remember when you and I connected, I had a group program that I was enrolling into at that time. And you're like, no, I want you all to myself. So what were you expecting might happen? Were you concerned that something really personal was going to come up, or you just wanted that super fast breakthrough?
I think I needed the one-on-one attention because the group atmosphere wasn't working for me as much. And I had taken the time to pay attention to some of your podcasts and just a couple of videos I had seen where you made it easy for me to understand. I'm very analytical, but you're very kind. So I do have questions, and I not that I feel like there's no stupid question, but I feel like you make people very comfortable. And that's what I needed, because sometimes it's not going to click right away for me. And I don't want to feel, why don't I understand this? And that's sometimes how I felt in certain spiritual programs. And I felt like you helped humanize it for me. And for somebody who's moving so fast, I knew I needed that one-on-one, and I knew I didn't want a group, and I'm happy I did it. And
Yeah.
it could have been a selfish reason, but I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah. So if this is one of the things I'll say when I do this work with clients, when clients do this work with me, I facilitate shifts, and then it's up to you to go out and take action on those shifts. And boy, did you take some action as a result of the action that you've been able to take. By the end of this year, if you stay on target, moving in the direction you're going, by the end of this year, what do you think is going to be the change in income into the business, revenue into the business year over year?
Yeah, definitely. I am going to triple my income this year for sure. Just I had set a lower expectation at the beginning, and there's no doubt I can triple the income just the way that I've released, and I'm so confident and able to manage. Yeah, it's not a question.
Yeah. So simply being able to get out of the mental bottleneck, so you have the trust and the confidence to hire and train someone to offload yourself and to be able to take on more clients. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes, that, and also it's inspired me because I've let go of the garbage. I'm able to see more. I'm able to have better visualization of what I can do more and how I can serve clients better. So the options are endless. I feel like just that alone, I was able to go and do a video on why you should charge the way you should charge. And so now I'm making YouTube videos, and I'm trying to reach out to get interior designers to pull in that way. It's just inspired me to do other things with my talents and with what I have up here. There's a lot I can do, and I would have never have done that before. I never even had that in my mind. So it's given me a lot of open ideas.
Yeah, it sounds like it's gotten you out of the box that
For sure.
the industry probably put you in as to what was possible.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm a little bit more of a free spirit than that, and I always was. So now that I know how to use that, I just feel awesome. I love it. I'm so happy. And I'm a lighter person physically. I'm a lighter person. I'm telling you, and mentally.
It's impossible to shift this much without it impacting your relationships. Is this having a positive effect on your family?
So we've had a little ups and downs. And for my husband, I think it was a little scary because I was changing so fast, but he's actually now inspired more to get more fit. He sees the difference. I showed him a side-by-side of me from months ago, and then now it's crazy. And we didn't even talk about diet and exercise, you and I. But I think the mental and all of the garbage, I keep calling it up there. Once I release that, it just has made me a light. So many people have told me, you are a light. You are light. You just look amazing. You look wonderful. And you're so happy. I've gotten a couple people texting me asking what I'm doing. They want to know. So that was a good thing.
One of the things that happens is when we're constantly working to problem solve, or we're going around in our mind working through, how do I do this? I need to do this. I need to do that. I'm not doing it. Why am I not doing it? And I'm not saying that's what you were saying. I'm just examples. This creates internal stress in our mind because we know that we have a desire and we're not meeting that desire. And it creates an internal tension that activates our stress response.
Absolutely.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize that just the simple mundane chatter, and I say mundane because most people have it, that we're having these conversations in our mind and we're sorting out problems and trying to create the life that we want. It activates the stress response. When we activate the stress response and it's chronically activated, even at a low level, it affects our body's hormones. It stimulates the release of cortisol. It impacts our immune system. It impacts our sleep and any number of things. And you're not the first client that I've ever had that comes back to me and says, hey, I know we weren't working on weight, We weren't working on my fitness, but look at this. I've dropped 10 pounds or I've dropped 15 pounds, or they become more toned. And how much of a difference was it over that period of time? Because it was a short period of time and I didn't notice a lot. But when you showed me the pictures, which I think was over a much greater period of time than us just working together, but it's impressive. You look great. Not that you didn't before, but just the tone, the muscle, the glowing, it's definitely there.
Yeah, definitely lost 10 pounds since we've started working together. And I toned up a ton. I'm way more toned than I was, that's for sure. I had set the intention last year to stop drinking and to clean up, and it really didn't take full into effect until like around 4th of July. So I had been building up to that. And then just once I started with you, it just catapulted, I can honestly say. So yeah, people notice all the time. My mother, she couldn't believe it when she saw me. Oh my gosh. But I have to say, back to what you were talking about before, I remember calling you and I was so not angry, but I was like, all right, I'm the fixer. I'm the fixer. And then I look back at that now and yes, I was the fixer. And maybe it was my birth order. It was just how I ran things when I was younger, whatever. I don't feel like that anymore. Sure, people come to me and I'm sure I have an answer for something or a suggestion, but I don't feel that pressure to be the fixer all the time. I feel like that, like you had said, that puts that internal stress on you. And I don't feel like that as much anymore. I feel so much more light than that when I first came to you, for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can reach out for one thing. And I'm sitting here and in my mind, I'm reflecting back over the work that we did together. And we circled around a lot of different beliefs and that type of thing. But I don't think that we ever did a session that specifically honed in on having had this identity of being the fixer. I believe we simply honed in initially like on some self-love, some self-confidence, this really good starting place to lay the foundation to build new beliefs on. And it just threw the floodgates open right away.
Yeah, I remember I was saying to you, I'm the fixer. I do this, I take care of that. And you're just doing your notes. That's nice. Okay. So you never know what magic Penny's got in her pocket, but she does retain it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We go where the subconscious mind leads us to go.
And you always told me that. You're right. Yeah.
For a long time, I was very rigid in my process. And the more I followed that process, the more I saw that maybe this necessarily doesn't have to be done like that. And I'm not what some of us in my circle call scriptnetist. I don't read scripts. Sometimes a script is appropriate, but I love the deep inner transformational work just because of all the things that you've explained so far. And sometimes the technique that's needed is to just listen really well, see where the subconscious mind peeks out and wants to come out and play, and just really to hone in and focus on that, because the mind knows what it needs to do to sort all this out, to release the stress. The minute that I begin to steer a session to where I think it needs to go, then I'm projecting onto you, and it just doesn't work out as well. I have found that being curious creates much greater results. So when you think about someone who might have been in a similar situation as yours, because your business was doing well, your business was growing, right? It's not like you were having financial issues or difficulties. You just wanted something more. What would you say to someone who is in a similar position where there's no crisis brewing, there's no, I have to do this now? What would you share with them about the degree of shift and change that you've experienced? And what advice would you give them?
I would just say that there is more. You just need to open your eyes and be open to it, and just know that it's better than you could ever imagine. Honestly, you just have to put in the time and do the work, and it'll be worth it tenfold. It honestly is. I am so thankful. I can't believe it has gone that fast, to be honest with you.
Fast.
And that has changed so much. And I'm really happy I did it. And
Yeah.
I just try it and see. I mean, I would love for someone to tell me I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because I'm telling you, it has changed so many things. It really has for me. And then some.
To hear you say that you're going to triple your revenue this year, and you're just like, yeah, I'm going to triple my revenue. All these things are opening up for me. I never thought about before. What would Mary Therese of November, how would she have reacted to that?
I don't have time for that. I just don't have time for that.
Really?
I just don't have time. Like, I just.
So I want you guys to hear what she's saying there, right? Before these shifts happened, where her mindset was before, it was quite comfortable being in this place where there wasn't any growth. But then once she had those shifts, it's just bring it. I'm ready for it. Let's go. Let's go.
I make it look good too.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
You
I'm
make
super
it look
confident.
fantastic. I'm going to let you wrap it up. By chance, if there's someone who's in interior design or someone who is interested in CBD, where can they find you?
Yeah, so for the interior design, I do mtybooks.com/how to charge, and that helps you know how to charge your clients. There's a free resource there. And I love helping interior designers do what they love to do, which is design. And I love the numbers part, and I love to make that easy for them. So that is where I really do find joy. And then for the CBD brand, it's Can Active Life, CAN Active. And we just focus on health and wellness, less stress, less inflammation, and letting CBD work for you. Better sleep, better rest, better life.
Beautiful. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And just as you eased into it, like you're just radiating, absolutely radiating.
I know. I love talking to Penny. I'm gonna miss her now. I'm gonna have to make up some issues and start seeing you again.
Once in a while people will circle around and say, oh, this one little nagging thing came up. I don't have time to deal with this. Can you? Yes, let's do this. Because people recognize the value of time.
Yeah.
I love coaching. I've been in coaching programs. I've been coached. And the conversational hypnosis is a bit like coaching, but it's subconscious. It's on steroids. But once you realize the value of time, if you can go in and unravel that belief and really set it loose, it, like you say, it takes off like a rocket ship. Most definitely.
And that's another thing I have to add is I feel comfortable knowing I can call you and just say, hey, I feel this way. Do you think I need this? And before I would be super embarrassed and vulnerable about that. And I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like I can honestly say, Penny, I'm stuck here. Do you have any opinions for me? If you do, great. If not, let me know.
Yeah. And I think that's important to touch on, because I will have people reach out and say, hey, this thing is coming up for me. And the first thing I do is I guide people back to the tools and I ask, have you done this, this, and this? And if they haven't, I'm like, good, I want you to do this, then come back to me. And then I will know if this is something you and I need to dive in together one-on-one, or if it's going to resolve on its own, because it's important for me, for people to realize the power they have within themselves to work through things. But then I'm also here if there needs to be a guided approach, because at the end of the day, our mind does what it does because it thinks it's protecting us. And I know I've done podcast episodes on this, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right here, right now, but it's doing what it's doing for a reason. And so sometimes if it's latched onto something that it has a high degree of importance on, you need that outside objective facilitator through the process, because we literally can't see what's in front of us. Sometimes it's that beautiful blind spot.
Yeah. And you made it very easy for me to do. So thank you. I am eternally grateful.
I appreciate you being here, Mary Therese. I promised you that this was going to be a great episode of Design Your Destiny. Now, to connect with Mary Therese, the links are in the show notes, but her CBD brand, you can locate her at canactivelife.com, CANNACTIVE life.com. She also has a Facebook group, which we're going to link below. If you're in the accounting, bookkeeping space, or you are into interior design and you want to know more about what she is doing in that world, because I know she has things coming to life that aren't quite ready yet. So we're not going to spill the beans on those here. But if you want to be in her world and be available when that rolls out, we'll have her social links where you can like, follow, and subscribe. If the results that Mary Therese has experienced, if this is something that you're like, oh my God, I'm in the same place, I have the strategies in place, I know what I need to do, but I just feel like there's something in my way, I'm not fully into it the way that I should be, whether it's your messaging, what you truly believe, or you're just holding back a little on the actions, you might be a perfect fit for Thrive the Mastermind. If you're sitting around $200,000 to $500,000 and you're looking to move into these next steps, and you recognize that the you strategy at this point is your most important strategy, so that you don't fall back into that newbie cycle of chasing validation and information and strategies and techniques, then apply. pennychason.com/thrive-apply. The link will be in the show notes. Apply. Let's get on a call. Let's make sure it is a good fit for you, because I only want you in this space if I can actually help you achieve a wildly successful and soul-aligned business of your dreams. We'll catch you next week.